All right, what's up, college football fans and quarterback fans? Welcome to another QB Spotlight video. In this video, we're talking about who we think the most underrated quarterback is in all of college football. And there's a decent list, and we're not going to even get into the list. We're just going to talk about who we think is the most underrated cat in college football. And it's a guy that we've actually had on the podcast before, so maybe we're a little biased, but I think if you look at these numbers and listen to what we're about to explain and go into detail, I think you'll probably agree that even if he's not the most underrated quarterback, he's definitely in contention. But in our book, he's the most underrated quarterback. And before we talk about who it is, if you like any quarterback content, we're just a big quarterback hub. We put out a lot of quarterback content, from film breakdowns, recaps, previews, to having quarterbacks and coaches come on the show and talk about the quarterback position. So if you like that type of content, please consider subscribing. Okay, so the most underrated quarterback in college football, in our mind, is Chandler Rogers, University of North Texas quarterback. He was a starting quarterback at ULM the past 2 years, transferred to UNT this year, and if you haven't seen him play or haven't heard of him, you need to tune into. If you've watched this channel for a while, you probably know that we cover a group of 5 quarterbacks fairly decently, and so you probably know about him. But if you haven't watched him, you need to tune in to watch him play. He didn't even start the year as a starter at North Texas, right? So he transfers from ULM, isn't the starting quarterback at the beginning of the year, then ends up taking the reins midway through the second game. So let's look at his numbers real quick. So again, didn't start the first game, came in midway through the second game or second quarter, I can't remember exactly, but came in the second game and took over from there. So through, 8 games? I think they're 3-5. Don't quote me. I think they are 3-5. They got 4 more games left. But through those games, he has 2,173 yards passing, 19 touchdowns passing, 1 interception. That came in the first game where he didn't start, but he got thrown in at relief. So he hasn't thrown an interception as a starter. He has 124 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns on the ground, and the completion percentage of 65.1. He really solidified himself in game 2 whenever he got put in against FIU. Now they lost, but he came in from relief and was 11 of 15 in that game for 201 yards, 2 touchdowns, 49 yards on the ground, and 1 touchdown on the ground. So 3 total touchdowns, and they ended up losing that game by 7. All their losses have been close. Now, I know they're 3-5, but all their losses have been close. You don't want to take moral victories, but man, they're so close. And there's other stuff on the, that it's a team game, but just from the quarterback position, he's playing good enough to win all these games. They lost by 7 against FIU that he didn't start. They lost by 3 against Navy. They lost by 3 against Memphis this past weekend, which was a heartbreaking loss after North Texas took the lead with under a minute left, and Memphis came and won by 3. They lost by 7 to Tulane a week ago. Their only game they got blown out or didn't have a chance was the opening game against California, and again, that's the game that Rogers didn't start, or that was the opening game of the season. And he only played a little bit in that game. So they're really close. Offensively, they're doing some good things. Chandler Rogers is playing out of this world, and he'd probably be getting more recognition if North Texas was winning more. But they've had a tough schedule, and they got 2 more actually got several tough games coming up, right? They currently in the middle of a really tough stretch. They played Tulane 2 weeks ago. They played Memphis this past week. They play UTSA coming up, then SMU after that. So maybe the 4 best teams in the American, they all play back to back to back to back. That's tough. And they were really close in all those games. And they got down fairly big against Memphis and against Tulane, but Chandler Rogers was able to lead them back for victory. In those past 2 games against Memphis and Tulane, so against the 2 toughest games that he's played against so far this year, he has 7 touchdowns, 754 yards passing. So despite those losses, he's played really well, and his numbers are coming against really good teams so far. It's not like he's putting up all his numbers against Abilene Christian, right, against an FCS school. Like, he's playing well in every single game. Some other impressive stats for Chandler Rogers. He has 21 completions where the ball is thrown 20 yards or more downfield. That's tied for number 1 in the AAC, tied with Preston Stone, the SMU quarterback. He's been using play action and straight drops, right? So he's not just relying on play action to get open. Yeah, he's using it, it's having success, but he's also having a lot of success on just normal straight drop back passes. He has 8 TDs off play action, 11 TDs from just straight back passes. And he's been excellent against the blitz. 10 touchdowns against the blitz, 0 interceptions, and 832 yards in the air. So that tells us when the team is blitzing, he's finding the open spaces and getting the ball out quick, right? He's also a good athlete. He can move around with his legs if he needs to, but he moves around to set up the pass. He wants to do that, and then if the defense gives him lane to run, he of course can take that. So Chandler Rogers, our opinion, the most underrated quarterback in all of college football. He would be getting more recognition if they were getting more wins. We get it, but he's got our vote for most underrated quarterback in college football. Chandler Rogers, North Texas quarterback. Let us know in the comments who you think the most underrated quarterback is. Who do we miss? Maybe we'll put out a video with several guys who are underrated, but our guy is Chandler Rogers from North Texas as the most underrated guy. So again, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like this quarterback content, please like, share, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. It does help, and we'll see you next time. Peace.